Hello, and welcome back to another EPC Teardown Guide. Today, we're taking a look at the Dell Latitude 5430, a workstation laptop you'll find in offices nationwide. This model in particular has an i7 11th gen processor, a fairly simple teardown. Today, we're going to show you how. Now let's get into it. Alright, so let's get this started. Go ahead to the back side, where we have these 8 captured screws. Everything on this model should just take a classic PH0 Phillips bit. Alright, and to get the back cover off, I usually use some kind of scraper at the corner and just pop it right out. You just have to get just under the case to get under those hooks. And once you have a good amount up, you should be able to just pull it up the rest of the way. Now, as always, the first thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery. Just grab that little end bit and pull. Now to take the battery out, it has 3 captured screws around the battery. Next up, let's go ahead and get this drive out of here. The SSD should be right under this heatsink here. On these models, you'll either find a full-sized here, or you might find a small 2230 and then a spacer. But through the same way, just with 2 screws. And then we can lift this up and pull away. Now, since it's not too difficult, let's get this LCD lid assembly out of here next. To start, we'll get this bracket on the Wi-Fi card and antenna off. Just 1 screw holding that in place as usual for these Dells. What I like to do, at least in these models, is just pop this Wi-Fi card off. A little bit of leverage with some plastic to get it off that adhesive strip. And then I can pull it straight out on the red of the cables. And of course, if you want to take the Wi-Fi card itself off those cables, all you need to do is make sure to pull directly away from the board, just to keep those cables safe. They bend and break very easily. Next up, we have this display connector covered by a bracket over here. Just 2 more of those same screws. I believe these are the same screws that I used throughout the rest of the case, and they're labeled as M2x3. So just those 2 screws in the bracket. Then for this model of display, we have these 3 connectors. 2 of them are inserted, and 1 is the classic push-down display connector. So let's get the push-down one out first. You just grab this little tag and pull up. And for these other 2, you'll have to grab and pull away from you. Straight out. Same with the second one. I believe these are touchscreen connectors. They may have other purposes, but other models will just have the 1 push-down connector. Now that we've got those both out, we can get these screws holding the lid itself out. In this instance, I think the best thing I like to do is to flip the model around. So we'll go ahead and open this up and then turn it around and put it directly on the edge of the table. You'll see why that's useful here in just a moment, but just 2 screws on the other side. And now that it's on its edge like this, we can just pull straight up and it comes right out of those little standoffs. If you don't do that, you end up putting some torque on those standoffs. Or you could potentially put some torque on those standoffs and break them off. Not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, it's still going to be screwed into the case, but every model's a bit different, so better safe than sorry. Turn that back around. Next up, we'll go ahead and tackle this black cage you see that covers up the board itself. There are 3 of these longer silver screws. They're labeled M2x5 here. And then there are 10 more of these small silver M2x3s around the bottom half. I believe that's it. So the only thing holding this in place is going to be this little speaker cable right down here. Just a wing connector, so you can pull it straight out. And then unthread it from this little bit down here. And then this case just lifts off. You will have to be careful because it is also held in place by a small nub right here. But that just means you have to lift it up towards you and pull away. So now we can start tackling the board itself proper. To start with, we have this metal bracket over here that is supporting the USB-C and power connectors. That's just held on by these 3 long silver screws. And the bracket just comes right out. Now the board itself is held in by 4 of these small silver M2x3s. And finally, we have 2 more of the longer silver screws holding the CPU fan in place. But it's also holding the board down. Now we're almost done, but we have a couple of ribbon cables to disconnect. First off, we've got this special connector up here that goes to the power button. The easiest way to get these off is to put something underneath of this little ledge here and pull up. You don't want to put any torque on this connector because it's another one of those. It's pretty thin and easy to break. Then you've got 3 ribbon cables down here. This small one over top of the CMOS battery that goes to the indicator light. Pull that back. And remember, whenever you remove these ribbon cables, you should close the connector once you've opened it up. Just because while they're open, they're weaker. You don't want to break those off. You have another one here going to this daughter board that controls a few different functions. pull that out. And lastly, we have this one that goes down to the touchpad and keyboard. You may not see this second cable on every different model. A lot of these functions I found are optional, but you'll always see the one for the indicator light and the keyboard. And now that those are out, we just have to make sure that the CMOS battery is off the board so it doesn't get stuck. And then we can lift the board up and away. Of course, if we wanted to, we could take the RAM out. The CMOS battery I left connected, as well as the heat sink and CPU fan. And as far as the case itself goes, the keyboard itself is replaceable on this model with just a decent amount of these screws, as well as the touchpad itself is also removable. But that's where we'll end it today. So that's how you take apart the Dell Latitude 5430. Thank you for watching.
Don't feel like doing a teardown yourself? Have not just one, but hundreds of devices taking up space? EPC is a global leader in the ITAD field, and it's our goal to reduce e-waste and give devices a second chance. Reach out to us today to learn more.